everyone, this is Hannah Kavanagh speaking, and welcome to yet another amazing episode of CUNY Uncut, where we talk about anything and everything, uncensored, unedited, and uncut. Today, I have an amazing guest with me on the show who is currently studying computer animation at SVA, recently graduated from LaGuardia Community College. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And is also a fellow that's part of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses Fellowship, in addition to being a junior designer at Decker Design. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Scottie Norton. How you doing, Scottie?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So today I actually wanted to talk with you about your journey kind of leading up to getting your bachelor's, because you have like quite an unconventional route between, starting off in retail management, switching after over 10 years to a different career, starting college again. So I'm just curious as to like what that journey was like for you, and when you had that eureka moment and how that kind of came about for you.
Definitely. Yeah, I was a retail manager for over a decade. Ever since I moved to New York 9 years ago, I was working as a retail manager. And I really enjoyed it. I liked a lot of aspects of it, but there were parts of it that I was feeling like I wasn't able to be as creative as I wanted to be. Even though I loved working retail, I was missing something. I'd been an artist my whole life. So a couple of years ago, 2019 actually, a few months before the pandemic happened, I basically started going to therapy and kind of talking about my life plan and what I wanted out of my life, and sort of came to the conclusion, and what I really loved about going to therapy and talking to this specific therapist was that I never really felt like it was a therapist telling me what they wanted me to do or what they thought I should do. It was really me finding my own voice and making my own decisions. So I decided to just change my career completely and to go into a different route. So I decided to start studying digital media through kind of going through therapy, and I've sort of made this decision. And a few months before the pandemic, started applying to go to LaGuardia Community College, and kind of the rest is history at this point.
So I'm curious, because that's the thing, is to switch careers, it takes a lot of courage to do, so kudos for doing that. But I'm wondering, like, what was the general reaction from family, from friends, from your coworkers when you decided to kind of switch gears and go back to school?
Honestly, I think people were really excited for me. Cool. I think the overall, especially from the people in my life who, were thankfully extremely supportive. They were really supportive of me. They were really happy that I was finally doing this. They knew that there was something with my retail career that I hadn't been completely satisfied with, or I hadn't really found that kind of meaning, and that I was lacking that creativity, because the people that are in my life knew that I was a creative person. They knew I was an artist. So when I decided to go back to school, I got a lot of support, to be completely honest. But it doesn't mean that it was easy. It was definitely a challenging thing to do. And even there were a lot of people who I wasn't super close with, who were kind of confused, or maybe they were a little bit like, questioning.
I guess because they weren't close to you then.
Right. No, exactly. And I've had people since ask me, like, aren't you intimidated to be going back to school, this like later? And there's all these other people who have so much more experience than you. And they're really sort of reflecting that inner voice, that inner those inner fears back at me, and I had to be like strong enough to say to them, like, actually what I'm doing is the right thing, regardless of whether or not I'm the most talented person, regardless of whether or not I'm the most experienced. This is what I want to do. And even though there might be a million people doing what I want to do, even though there's however many, like, I have to have that conviction to know that regardless of whether or not I'm super successful in my career that I choose, that it's the right one for me, because it's what's going to give me the most meaning.
For sure. And I feel like you could argue that with any field that you go into, there's always going to be some level of competition. There's always going to be like millions of other people in your field. So if that's like something that's holding you back, it's like, why? But so I get that. But one thing I do hear from a lot of people that are in their 30s or older and like going back to college, I mean, a lot of people say that kind of delving back into assignments and delving back into a classroom setting is a little challenging. Like, did you feel like that was the case for you to kind of switch gears and do that after all this time?
Surprisingly, I didn't, because I felt like being older actually helped me, and especially having work experience. When I went to college the first time in 2005, when I was 17 years old, which is like half of my life away. I've lived like twice since then. I initially was terrible. I was a terrible student. I wasn't focused. I didn't really care. And now that going back as an adult, it really forced me. Like, I didn't have any other options other than to go to class. And because I had that work experience, I think it gave me that work ethic and really, honestly, the confidence that I needed to go back to school and say, like, actually, I am smart enough to do this. I am hardworking enough to do this, which are things that when I was younger, I didn't really believe. I didn't believe I had in me, you know?
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting that, because here's the thing. I noticed that, you know, a lot of times there's the conventional career path of like, okay, you graduate high school and then you immediately go to college and then there's the rest of your life, right?
Yep.
So, but one thing I'm realizing, and it's kind of interesting, I notice especially amongst men, like less men are going right into college from high school.
Yeah.
And I heard that within the next 20 years or so, there's going to be like 3 women for every 1 man in college, which is really interesting.
Wow.
But it kind of got me thinking about, you know, what's considered conventional, what's considered unconventional. And if you think of me thinking about like your journey and kind of like where you're at this point, you know, there's a lot of stigmas that you're combating, right? There's the stigma of, you know, going back to college at an older age. So it's like the ageism issue. There's also the community college stigma, right? Because people assume like, oh, you know, if you go to a community college, you're not as smart, you're not as bright, that sort of thing. So I guess were you made aware of those stigmas, like going into this journey, whether it be subliminally or not so subliminally? And I guess like how have you been grappling with those things?
The stigmas are there, and I wouldn't even say that they're subliminal, because they're very out there. I think it's very, you know, you go on a dating app right now, and it's like, what school did you go to? They're even as liberal or as open-minded or as woke or whatever as people want to, you know, claim to be or say they are, there's still those levels of like elitism, classism within our own communities that I think kind of hold us back and really are super detrimental, because you're right. Like, why does it matter what school you go to, or why does it equate to your it shouldn't equate to your it doesn't equate to your intelligence.
Exactly.
It doesn't have anything to do with that. So going back to LaGuardia, you know, it was really great because I got to feel a little bit like I had the ability to figure out while I was there what I wanted to do and go into it with sort of that more open-mindedness. And I found, you know, so much mentorship from that program. I found so much opportunity from that program, and really was in classes with some extremely bright people who, you know, are just super passionate about what they do and their careers. And I think it's a great jumping off point, especially if you're unsure of what you want to do. So
for sure. And like I mean, I've actually heard as well, it's not as expensive to like go, because you know there's the times are tough right now, and there's like the money element as well. I mean, if you could just get your do a 2-year program, get your associates, go right, and then go into the bachelor's route from there, rather than going straight to the bachelor's and it's cheaper, it's like, yeah, why not? You know?
Definitely. And I think there were also some things holding me back, because I did drop out of college a million years ago when I went initially. And it was a way for me to go back and kind of prove that I had the ability to get good grades and sort of have like almost a little bit of a lower stakes situation. But yeah, LaGuardia was a great starting point for me. I'm really happy that I did it, because I was still sort of unsure exactly what I wanted to do and what route I wanted to take. And I think that's what a lot of younger people are going through as well. You know, like you said, you leave college or you leave high school and you're expected to go right into college, and then that's what you do for the rest of your life. It's like,
yeah, it's scary.
It's like, what?
No, yeah, it's funny because like I relate to your journey to some extent, that there's some parallels there because I actually started off, I think we talked about this before maybe, but I started off double majoring in journalism and political science. And then, it's funny because when I was doing the readings for my classes and like doing the homework, I was literally sobbing. And I actually, and at the time I didn't know why. But then I had this eureka moment. I'm like, oh, this is why I'm so depressed. Like, I don't like anything that I'm studying and none of it's really resonating with me. So I kind of was at this crossroads of what to do next. And I've always been similar to you. Like, I've always been into creative stuff. Like, I used to sing all the time when I was a kid. I went to LaGuardia High School for theater. So I've always been comfortable in that world, but didn't quite have the confidence to really go for it.
Totally.
And that's kind of when things shifted right before my senior year. I'm like, I'm going to switch to film. And it's interesting because my mom was like, oh, why didn't you do this sooner? Like, this just feels like a no-brainer. And, similar to you in your situation, like I did have some people that were like, why are you switching majors so late? Like, you have 1 year left. Like, what's the point? But one thing I'm realizing is that you're setting the foundation for like the career that you want to end up having, the person you want to end up being. So
definitely.
You kind of have to take all those things into account.
And there's no right time to do it. It's like you're making that decision. You're making that decision, period. That's what's important. And you have to have the confidence to do it. And for me, the reason I kind of held myself back for so long for going back to school was because I was telling myself, well, I'd have to start over. I'd be not only starting over a new career, but starting over, financially. Because like in retail, what I was doing before, I was making good money. And I could have continued to kind of climb up and get more and financially be more secure. And I'm kind of starting from scratch in a lot of ways, which is super scary. But it just is what I know is going to be right for me. I know it's what's going to fulfill me in the end. And I don't think that there's a right or wrong path. And I kept telling myself, like, the time's going to go by regardless. Like those years are going to pass whether or not you go back to school. So would you rather leave? Would you rather get to the end of that? Would you rather get to 37 or 38 years old and have this degree that you're super proud of and or not? So
for sure. I guess another thing that I don't know, this came up in my head when we were talking about like destigmatizing community colleges. And I kind of thought about it with CUNY as a whole on a broader level. There's also a stigma against going to public university. And it's interesting because so a friend of mine from one of my film classes, she interned for Warner Media for like a whole year. And she had one of her supervisors has connects with A24. And, the supervisor was like, I'll put you in touch. I think you'd be great for the role. I'll put you in touch with someone I know that works at A24. She didn't even get an interview.
Wow.
And her supervisor, even though she had the connections and like put in the work, and her supervisor said, oh, it's because you go to CUNY and they're looking for NYU students, which I thought was really, really effed up. But I'm wondering if you encounter similar stigmas with that. And also, I mean, do you feel like your experience at LaGuardia, how did that affect like your internship opportunities and job opportunities further down the road?
Well, the great thing about LaGuardia is I had a lot of opportunities while I was there. So I designed a T-shirt for the CUNY Pride Parade
cool.
for like their LGBTQIA plus consortium, which is a new thing for them, for CUNY, and got to be involved in that world and see more and meet more of these more CUNY people. But you're right, like there's I feel like I had maybe some of those ideas before I started to go to CUNY, before I started to go to LaGuardia, that were like, well, maybe a private school is better or this and that, but the programs that they have, the professors, even the types of classes, like their private universities are not better than the public universities at all, especially not in New York City.
And also there's professors like, because I go to Hunter, there's professors at Hunter that also teach the same content at Columbia, at NYU. And it's like, we're all learning the same stuff, literally.
Absolutely. And I know so many people who are, Hunter, I have a friend who's at Baruch right now, who are just having great experiences and around amazing students, and the professors are really great. Like, there's really no way to go wrong. And the professors that I had at LaGuardia, it really felt like it was meant to be while I was there.
That's so cool.
But yeah, I part of me initially was kind of like, well, how is this eventually going to look, or what is this the right choice, or whatever. But I just from going to school, going to LaGuardia, I really feel like it was such a great starting point for me. It really gave me so much confidence. I got to do an independent study that I wouldn't have gotten to do at a private university, where it's a little more rigid, especially the syllabus I'm in now at SVA. It's very like, this is what the syllabus is. These are the classes that you have to take. And I think I had a lot more freedom at LaGuardia to really make my own kind of decisions and talk to the program director and like have him be like really just there for me when I needed him to be. So I loved it.
No, it's great. And from what I'm seeing, it seems like you really like fully utilized all the opportunities that have been put forth like at LaGuardia Community College, like the Goldman Sachs Fellowship, which is huge. But I'm wondering like how that came on your radar and how you kind of allowed yourself to be open to all these different opportunities.
So I needed to do an intern. I had to take an internship or an e-commerce class. And I was like, I do not want to take an e-commerce class. Like no matter what, I'd rather take an internship and like possibly get paid for it. So I was looking for paid internships. I got an email randomly from this Goldman Sachs 10K Small Business Fellows program. And I was like, this seems too good to be true. They're going to pay for me to go to pay for my internship and match me with this company, this small business. So I get to like help a small business out. And I was like, this is too good to be true. There's no way that this is a real thing. So at first I was like, well, it's Goldman Sachs. Like that's got to be such a, high standard. And I was, even though I was like getting straight A's at the time and I had a good, I had a lot of credentials to be able to go into this program, I was super nervous about it. And I almost didn't apply because I was like kind of intimidated. And I was even telling the program manager at Goldman Sachs, I was like, after the program ended, I was like, I was intimidated to apply to this. I can only imagine other people, but the amount of people that did it, it ended up being such a great program. I got matched with this amazing company called Decor Design that I got an actual job doing. I know, so great. And they're super supportive of me. And it's just such a great company to work for. And it's a small business. So it was such a great program to be a part of. And it was through LaGuardia. I wouldn't have had that opportunity really at any other school. So
I'm wondering as well, because I'm sure like with being open to all these different opportunities, right? I'm sure there's times where you've been challenged personally. I'm just wondering, so through your work with Decor Design, like how has that been challenging for you, and how has it pushed you more towards like the direction of growth in your craft?
The internship and working at Decor really gave me the confidence to go into this new career, even though I don't plan on eventually being a graphic designer, and that's really what I'm doing right now. I know that this creative field was the right choice for me to make because I did this internship, because I've been able to go in and kind of be successful, and I've had the support that I've needed to as well. But it's challenging. You start this new career and you're thinking like, well, I've spent the last over 10 years, like almost half of my life doing something completely different. Like, can I actually do this? Is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I can do? And it's definitely, you have blows to your confidence. So
for sure, but at the same time, you don't grow and you're comfortable, and I feel like
exactly,
so I think putting yourself in these different situations, it's great. But one thing that I've been thinking about as well as we're having this conversation is like this idea of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how like self-actualization is like at the tip of it, right? Like kind of matching yourself to like an idealized version of who you'd want to become, and kind of getting closer to that. Do you feel like this has been, I don't know, do you feel like you've come close to who you are? Do you feel like you're the Scottie Norton that you've always wanted to be as a result of this experience?
Definitely. I know that, that's so weird that you brought that up, because I do feel like this has been such a self-discovery process for me. And there's all these little aha moments. And even choosing LaGuardia of all the community colleges in the area, and the CUNY community colleges. I lived in Queens for the first few years that I lived in New York, so I felt like this connection to Queens. And when I started to go there, it just felt right. And all of these things sort of clicked for my childhood. I used to spend like hours back before the internet. Basically, I would go on like Microsoft PowerPoint and make animations like by myself for fun.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah, I know. And then I had this animation class at LaGuardia that it was just like, oh, this is actually a really big part of me. This is something I've wanted to do my whole life and didn't even have the ability to kind of vocalize it or think of it for myself. And I think, like, my advice for anyone trying to figure out what they want to do is just try different things. Try something new out. If you're not sure, if you think that there's a path that you want to go down, like, take a class. Just do something it doesn't have to be a full college program. It doesn't have to be, going back and getting your bachelor's if you don't have it. It could just be something as simple as taking a class, trying a course out, and just seeing what it is that you love about it or if you like it at all.
For sure. And I think, like, there are a lot of people that have mixed feelings about the whole idea of like a designated Common Core course requirement thing. But I think the one thing that I'll say about that is that it really did give me like the free range to check out other courses and kind of see what was for me and what wasn't for me. But yeah, back to the self actualization thing. No, good. No, you're fine. No, I was going to say, because I was talking to a friend of mine who's a playwright about this, and we were talking about how art kind of promotes self-actualization, and that's when I really started to kind of think about it. But also this concept of like the inner child, right? And thinking back to, if 5-year-old Hannah were to see where I'm currently at right now, like, would she be happy with this, So I think that kind of played a major role in my decisions. And there were a lot of little aha moments for me too. Like, I would edit films when I was 11 with my friend Bowen, and I would call it B&H Productions.
Oh, wow.
We'd do that. I'd post, just like wee silly YouTube videos when I was a kid. But I think listening to that inner child is so important, and I feel like it's great that you did that.
And look at what you're doing now. It's all related. No, it's great. And I do feel that way. I feel like I'm doing what I'm finally supposed to be doing. I feel like all the years but it all adds up. It all works out. Like that, the experiences that I've had through even my retail career, like, they apply to my graphic design job. There are project management aspects of what I'm doing now that I know I wouldn't be able to handle as well or deal with as well if I hadn't had that work experience before. So regardless of what I end up doing, I know that the experiences that I've had are going to help me.
No, it's not all for naught. Yeah. None of it goes to waste.
Yeah. And I do feel like more of myself than I ever did before, And it's cool to see, like, other people that I know who are in my life and have seen what I've gone through. I've had a couple people who have gone back to school, not necessarily because of me, but they've seen they've reached out to me and said, hey, I'm also going back to school. And it's cool to connect with people who are older, who were in the same career as me, who are like making different decisions and changing their life,
For sure. I'm wondering as well, because I guess we covered a lot of ground, right, between like the self-actualization, but also like kind of combing through these stigmas regarding ageism, but also just elitism within the sect of like community colleges and public universities. I guess, like, what kind of advice would you give to someone that was in your position before, that's maybe like a little bit older, not necessarily like college age, that wants to kind of take that leap of faith and really go for it, but is too afraid to do so? What would you say to that person?
I say just go for it. I just say, like I said before, just take the class, try something out, change, just make some kind of change, and like do it as soon as you can. There's never going to be a right time to do it. There's never going to be this perfect time to go back to school. There's never going to be a perfect time to change your career. We fall into these cycles. We fall into this sort of comfortable thing in life where it's like, this is the safest route for me to go down, and it's a really big and scary thing to change that. And you go through a lot of tough times. There were a lot of tough times of me being back in school, and a lot of times I was crying, even though it happens. But my advice is just to do it. Just try something out. You don't have to make some big life decision where this is what the rest of your life is going to be, but try something else out. Take some kind of leap of faith and really trust yourself that whatever you're passionate about, whatever it is that you feel like, it's what's going to satisfy you in the end. It's what's going to make your life the most meaningful in the end. So yeah, my advice is just go for it. Try it out. It's not easy, but it will be ultimately satisfying. It's ultimately what's going to help you self-actualize and get to,
For sure. And I think looking at time as like a finite entity, which it is, definitely helps with that. I mean, not sure what your beliefs are, but I kind of believe that this is the one life that we have.
Yeah.
So why squander it on doing something that feels empty to you that you don't enjoy? So, which is easier said than done, but that's how I like to view it.
Definitely. Yeah. And even if we're reincarnated a million times, like
still,
we don't know. Who knows? There's no way to know if this is probably it, or this is all we know is what you have right now. So why waste, especially with everything that's gone on the past couple of years, and who knows how long things are gonna keep going.
Yeah.
It's like, just take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
Just go for it. It's not easy. It was definitely challenging. I was lucky enough to have like a lot of supportive people in my life, and to sort of lean on them when I needed them.
Right.
Which I think I was fortunate enough to have.
For sure. And I'm just curious. So like, what leaps of faith? Where do you see your career trajectory going from here? Like, what other leaps of faith are you thinking of taking?
Well, the plan is I'm hopefully going to be doing some kind of short film for my program that I'm in now with computer animation. I would love to work for like an animation studio doing 3D animation, visual development, concept art. That's kind of the plan right now.
Nice.
But
well, it seems like you're on the right track. I mean, look at all the stuff you're doing right now. So it's great.
It's exciting, and I'm learning a lot of like really great programs. And the program that I'm doing now, I'm learning a lot of like great skills that I know I'm gonna need. So it's exciting. It's a great time, and
no, for sure. Yeah, and with that being said, Scottie, I could talk with you forever, but I just want to say thank you so much for being on CUNY Uncut. This was such an awesome conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Woo-hoo. All right. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is CUNY Uncut, where we talk about anything and everything, uncensored, unedited, and uncut. Thank you for tuning in. Bye, everybody.